Patrick Cook here. So this is session 15 of our Mandelbulb3D Epic Rendering tutorial series. Now, in the last couple sessions, I was talking about when you wouldn't want to use it or you don't need big rendering, and also when you do want to use it. Now, in this tutorial series, what I want to do is I want to head toward producing a higher resolution image that would be used for a large physical print. All right. I mean, we could do the simulated animation. We certainly could do that. I certainly could produce a large high resolution image and then downscale it for whatever use I'm going to do. All right, but I'm going to go down the path of preparing an image for a large print, a large physical print, and I'm going to choose that as the basis for the project of this tutorial series because it's the hardest. Not only do you want to get the resolution right, but you also want to get the highest possible quality because any quality issues that you have in your electronic file are going to be amplified in your physical print. So there is paying attention to some aspects and some elements of your electronic image so that you don't wind up sending something off to the printer and they do their job, but you get it back and you find, oh my goodness, this isn't right or that's not right, but that's your fault. So it's trickier to prepare an electronic image for a print, unless you don't really care. Well, that's a whole different thing. But if you do care about spending $100 or so for a 30 by 20 print, and get back the best possible quality that you can, then you want to pay attention to the Big Render capabilities of Mandelbulb, and you want to be thinking about some of the conditions that you need to pay attention to for a large print. Okay, now I guess the first thing that comes to mind is do a large print for a Mandelbulb graphic that you really care about. The last thing you want is an ugly graphic sitting up on your wall, and you don't want to look at that and say, oh, that's ugly, and then all the work you put into it, and then you take it down, it gets lost in a closet somewhere, and nobody ever sees it. You want a good quality graphic, obviously. You want something that you can enjoy and live with. Now, that brings me to, well, I mean, you look at our screen here. Is that a graphic that you would want up in your wall? It's pretty cool, but I wouldn't. I want something really epic. And I guess that's why I call this tutorial series Epic. Because you can really get epic with this Mandelbulb software. Let's close that. Let's close this Big Render. I'm going to be going through all of these little settings here and stuff. So pay attention. It's coming. And I'm just going to go ahead and reset this. Let's just do a reset like that, and I'll calculate it. Actually, what I want to do, let's forget that. What I want to do, I'll tell you what, I'm just going to close Mandelbulb, and I'm going to start it all over again, because that will automatically get me a total reset of everything. Now I need to pop over to here and set this to idle so that this Mandelbulb will only use the threads of the 20 that I have available on this i9. It'll only use the threads that are idle so that rendering doesn't interfere with my video capture. All right, so let's go ahead and calculate that. There's our standard. Let's get something up here which is a little bit more larger. 800. I'm going to stay with the 16 by 9 resolution. Okay, there we go, a little bit better. Okay, so now if you want that on your wall as a large print, then you don't really need to do much of anything else. All right, but that's not what we want. Let's see if we can take the remainder of this session, maybe the next session, and let's see if we can get a really nice graphic here. Now, bear in mind that the graphic that we want to produce here, I don't want to spend hours while you sit here and watch me discover my graphic, because I really do want to get back to the tools and the big render so that we can continue with the education as to how to get a high resolution render out of this thing. But I do want to have a nice graphic that we can all be proud of, all right, and possibly even good enough where I send it out to a print vendor, and then I'll show you, in the last session what it looks like. All right, so let's come over here to our formulas. Now, we did this whole thing. I did a whole tutorial series number 2, talking about formulas. And let's see if we can find a decent formula set. What I do is I tend to migrate over to the amazing box, which is right here. All right, amazing box. Now I'm just going to calculate that and see what I get. Obviously, I'm inside the graphic. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to change this to the inside and outside. Now, I talked about this capability in series number 2, Mastering Mandelbulb Formulas. Okay. So now I'm getting something interesting. Let's come over, now we're in alternate hybrid mode now. All of this formula stuff I talked about in Series 2, Mastering Mandelbulb Formulas. Let's come over here and let's combine this in alternate hybrid mode to, I don't know, what would be interesting? How about, let's try Amazing Surf. Now, the Amazing box will give me more of kind of structures, more construction related. The Amazing Surf will give me more of an organic flowing type of pattern. And now I'm going to combine the two, and I'm going to calculate and see what we get. Well, that's not really looking that great, is it? All right. But let's do this. Let's not quit yet. I'm going to pull up the navigator here, get this down where we can see it. And I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to adjust some of the formula properties. I'm going to go to this Amazing box, and I'm going to play with this scale. All right, now that's it. Okay, now we're getting something interesting. You see how I'm modifying the scale? All right, I'm of the Amazing box now. Now let's go over to formula number 2 and modify the scale of Amazing Surf. All right, let's go that way. Okay, this is the Amazing Surf. Okay, let's go back to Amazing box. Let's try the fold. Yeah, Something like, I don't know, maybe something like that. Okay. All right. Now let's see, just because you're looking at a scene like that, that isn't what you have to accept. Because what you can do is you can navigate. You can navigate into this scene and see if we can find an interesting spot that might be very interesting. So if I left mouse click my mouse like that, that puts me into a navigation mode. I talked about all of this navigator functionality in tutorial series number 1, where we were building an animation. All right, so here we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of move around. Now I'm using the wheel of my mouse to move in. Let's go a little bit further, something like this. Okay. I'm moving the mouse now. Moving the mouse. Okay, now I'm going to click the left mouse button again. That takes me out of the mouse navigation. I'm going to come down here. I'm going to slide around. I'm going to slide down. I'm going to move in, something like this. Okay. Something like this. Now I'm looking. Okay, now I might be able to do something with this. I'm going to rotate a little bit. Okay. Now I'm going to slide up. Interesting. I'm going to left mouse click my button. I'm going to make a slight adjustment on that. Okay, left mouse button clicked again. I'm going to rotate my wheel, mouse wheel, and move in on the z-axis. Okay, now I guess I'm going to rotate a little bit here. Hold down the shift button, rotate. Okay. Slide up a little bit now. I don't like that. Come down. I'm going to go in a little bit. Okay, now I'll slide up. All right, well, something like that. Now, let's push that over to main. I'm going to re-render here in main. All right, now, we're over time on the session here, but the question is, would you want that on your wall? And if you do, then you proceed. If you don't, then you go back and you find a different graphic, or you find something that that you're really going to like. Okay. Now there's a lot to be said for this graphic here. That could go up on the wall. It needs a little bit of work. It needs a little bit of help on the depth. All right. It is a little bit busy, but it's got some interesting patterns to it. But do I want that on my wall? Probably not. But this is how you find out. Okay, overtime. We're overtime on this session. I'll see you in section 16. I'll see you there.